All right, everybody. All right. Welcome in, come in, come in. Part two as we close out this session this morning. Welcome. So, um, yes, everything is wonderful. Everything is wonderful. Everything is great. So come on in, and this is part two of the Kingdom of God is Here podcast. And we're just kind of wrapping some things up. Some of the things that we were talking about was like, you don't like, basically, like, in the kingdom of God, God owns everything. He owns everything. And, you don't have to earn things in the kingdom. You're born into things. You're born into things in the kingdom of God. And we were wrapping up on the subject of how, like, in other words, we just have to have a renewal of the mind, because we often think as religious people, we think as church folks, and we should be thinking as children of the King. We have to renew. I mean, it can sound very comic book-ish, saying that you are a child of the King. Okay, awesome. We good. Thank you, soldier. Really appreciate you so much. And so, like, when it comes to like real, like, kingdom realities, it can come off as very comic bookish. You know what I mean? Like Jesus stopping the water and, open up the eyes of the blind, and we're children of the King. We're King's kids, and so we believe it in theory, but very few people are actually acting it out in reality, like conduct, the way you live, the way you operate. You know what I mean? So, like, even me sitting here talking, like, I have to function more as a king lifestyle. Like, what is in my imagination? How does King's children wake up in the morning? You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure if you growing up in the kingdom, you got routines, you got responsibilities. Like, I'm gonna have to start planning out my whole day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, certain time you wake up, you get your clothes on, all of that kind of a thing. Thinking differently, because I can't imagine Solomon waking up with night clothes on all day. You know what I mean? Like, man, like this is like a lot of stuff has to change in order to function like a king, because what we were talking about is like a king has a lot of kids, but not all of the kids are chosen. Not all the kids are picked. And I was saying that when Apostle Paul was saying, think on things that are lovely, it was talking about having a beautiful spirit. And not all King's kids got a beautiful spirit. I would imagine Solomon had a beautiful spirit. You could just read this story and tell how beautiful his spirit was. What'd you say, Pastor Nidra? He had she was saying obviously the women were attracted to him, but I don't think it was just about, he had to be a handsome man just in general, being a child of David, but I'm pretty sure Absalom, you know what I mean, that's skin deep. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I think a real woman will be attracted to who he was on the inside, and I don't think he ever found it, which is his mother was trying to warn him, whoever that illustration was trying to warn him, but he didn't heed it. But you ain't got to be that attractive when you got all that money too. But anyway, what I was saying is that Solomon, and I'm not even talking about later on in Solomon's life, I'm talking about the innocent Solomon. I'm talking about before Solomon became a playboy. I'm talking about the Solomon that was raised up in the house, who probably wasn't even thinking about women at the time, right? Like, I'm talking about that I'm pretty sure Solomon was like a Joel Osteen. I would imagine he was probably like a background kind of a guy, that wasn't that concerned about being seen, or what I'm assuming. That's just my assumption. And yeah, Yeah. And his spirit was beautiful. Had to be, because David wasn't going to pick a child who didn't have a beautiful spirit. Man, that's amazing. But then Absalom, his spirit wasn't that beautiful. He was beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, he was a jock. He was a bozo. He was an idiot, you know, and he was a betrayer on the inside. And that wasn't a beautiful spirit. That wasn't a beautiful spirit. And so as we close, we need to look at the contrast between the spirit of Absalom and the spirit of Solomon. And we need to grow in more of that spirit of Solomon and stay away from the spirit of Absalom, which this is all internal. This is not physical. This is internal characteristics, internal concepts, mindsets, behaviors, thought patterns, all these kind of things. Thinking differently. If you stand right there, listen inside somebody's head, what are they thinking? If you listen to the pattern of their heartbeat, you know what I mean? Like, they could tell whether you tell them the truth or not just by listening to your heart rate. So that should tell you something, you know, about inward realities. And so we want to change our inner realities to become that of more of like king's sons that are acceptable in his sight, that are pleasing in his sight, and not displeasing in his sight. So that's all I got for y'all this morning for Kingdom Hour. Hope you guys received. Hope you guys were blessed. And as always, we on here every day preaching the gospel of the kingdom. We love you all. Thank y'all for joining us. Until next time, we will reach the world with the gospel of the kingdom. See you guys.